Welcome to Monkey and Frank. My name's Dope, my body's Dom, and today we're going to be talking about death in a good way. Death is not something to be feared of, not something to run away from or even ignore. In my experiences, the more that I've ignored death, the more that I've been causing trauma, unwanted trauma to my body because of the idea that this body will die. After my journey in Peru and ayahuasca, it really teaches you about there might be something after death. Might be a god. There's plant medicine, there's spirits, there's frequency. There's some food that if you eat will increase your frequency, or there's even some food and some medicine that you can communicate with, and they're going to give you some teachings. What? What? Seriously? So, 38 years of my life full of anxiety, full of depression, full of suffering inside my body, full of fear. Full of fear. I cannot tell you, even to this day, how much I'm struggling to just remove all the weeds, all of the walls that I've built up because of all of my fears so that I can get through that, figure out why I'm here, and figure out like how can I live this life in a more peaceful, calm, zen, here and now, not afraid to look at my feelings kind of life. And I think I'm on the right track. Now let's talk about death. Have you ever had an ego death or a type of death, even if it's just like a letting go of a bad habit? To me, that's kind of like a form of that. When you really accept it, something in your head just did click and you understood and you had a death. Or a more, psychedelic ego death. So let me share you one of my experiences. I've probably done another video, but it's important to share the idea that when I the idea that it's important to die over and over again, and that the final death of your body is not the final death of your awareness, and not necessarily as well the final death of your body, because this reality here, this material illusion that we're living in, soup. I believe in reincarnation. So when you come back in this soup, you bring back the memories of your previous lives, and and it molds who this body is today. Um, so let's share one of an experience of an ego death. So that way you guys can share in the comment and let me know, like, oh yeah, I've had something like that before. One of them is under the mushroom. I Penis envy. If you guys don't know the magic mushroom world, penis envy is something else. If you want a shamanic kind of go to your root, deal with the trauma of your life, and purge what you need to purge, and I mean purge. So it's not gonna, for me, my experience, penis envy thus far has not been a rainbows and sunshine kind of a feeling. It was very a purging type of feeling. And in that trip, I was contemplating death. Not something recommended during a mushroom trip, but I wanted to heal the traumas, and that's why I'm encouraging you guys. I know they say set and settings so that you stay away from these type of thoughts, but I'm telling you right now, going through that and really accepting or even having experiences that will blow your mind, because through the darkest place is where the light lives, is where you get to the end, and the contrast of the dark and the light is so extreme that you are left with a spiritual kind of awakening of, God, life is important and I'm here for a reason. That makes sense. I'm still not there yet, but it feels like it is. Destiny is looking forward to, like, yeah, man, your connection, everything that you do that is out of love, where your heart opening and stuff like that. So the mushroom, cannabis, penis envy together made me contemplate death, especially my throat, I've always had a fear that I was going to get throat cancer one day or colon cancer because of how my granddad died. So now I get this ego that, and really through the psychedelic, when things get really dark, as it did, things started to scream everywhere, and everything was screaming as if every light source had a feeling, had a sound, had an emotion. I allow myself to go through the experience and die with all of these lights and souls and everything that's around me. And as soon as I died, the light came in and it became a song. And through the dark places of I thought was my mind, like when you have an experience like that, am I creating this? How insane is this? I would have never in a million thousand years anticipated that if I go through the darkness, there's going to be a light at the end. And meaning I died. I felt like I died. The magic mushroom and the cannabis, with all of my heart and soul, made me feel like I died. And it was scary. And the feeling of anxiety was through the roof. And when all of my feelings came during my death, as I guess one does when you bring all of your soul and you need to go through something to get to the other side, you have to bring everything in. So the love, the bad, the good, the whatever. I felt all of these feelings coming in, passing through, and as soon as they got through, light, rainbow, and the harmony of all of my feelings, meaning without that anxiety and the fear and the pure terror of dying, the feeling of bliss or the harmony or the song or of bliss that was on the other side wouldn't have been possible without that frequency, without that hum of like, what the fuck is going on? You know what I mean? Wah! Sapo, stuff like that. So that was my experience when it came to an ego death. Um, Another one where was, and this one I want to really talk in detail. I grew some mushroom and they were cute and tiny. And throughout the entire growing of these mushrooms, I was really pouring my heart and my soul into them and really imagining like, oh my God, these mushrooms are going to be a celebration of life. This is my moment. This is when I'm going to meet God in the most peaceful, loving, gentle way, as if I would be trawling in a field of flowers and the sunrise would come up and the feeling would just poof and I would fall into the clouds. And I grow these mushrooms. It takes it takes a long time. So let's say 3 months to, and every time that I'm entertaining them, I'm really pouring my soul into it. So I take these mushrooms. I take 5 grams. They're golden teachers, super tiny, cute. And I start to panic because there was something I had created so much of an idea, so much of like an idea, an image of what it was going to be like, that as soon as it deviated, like of course it will, you cannot control the mushroom. As soon as it deviated, I started to panic because I thought to myself, what did I get myself into again? I had, I've been through many mushroom trips thus far, and they were just kind of purging and hellish and horrible because I know that I'm scared and I'm broken and I want to confront these things so that I can be unbroken, if that's possible, which I'm not sure yet. And I take those mushrooms. They start really coming up, but after like 5 minutes. So the timeline was so short that it caught me off guard and I started to panic. And when I started to panic, I started to say things to my wife was there, of course. I had my sitter to really be there and to give me the space that I need to go through what I need to go through to grow and heal and whatever with the soul. And I start to purge and I ask permission. Can I purge? As if I couldn't even give myself permission to cry. I had to ask another for the permission to cry. And as soon as she said yes, I cried. And at one point I even asked her permission, can I cry harder? Can I go more extreme? Yes, of course you can. So I go more extreme. A cry that I've never experienced before, like as if a nuclear bomb had wiped out like 5 cities and everybody I knew was in there, and it was that type of cry. My entire family was gone. It was just, but there was no thought behind it. It was just a pure feeling of I need to let this shit out. As if I had died. That one came to mind though. I remember it's as if I had died 1,000 deaths in the past without the knowledge or the comfort that there is something else after, or living a life in trust. When you have this sense that there's a God or there's a higher being or a higher purpose, even if you're atheist and you believe in your higher purpose of achieving, what your body can perform in this life, in this biology, and using all the tricks, having something greater to believe in. So it felt like I had 1,000 lives where I died without that sense of like belief, that comfort that is so necessary, so that when you die, you just don't get reborn right away because the trauma was so extreme that you attach yourself to life. That's what I believe, anyways. I could be wrong, of course. I know nothing. I'm dumb as a post. But I believe if ever you die in a traumatic way and you don't have that trust and purity and honesty that everything is going to be all right and that you are perfect, another life, another life. And I had visions, and I've seen it through talks on podcasts, as if psychics talk about it, as if sometimes it's a risk coming on Earth, because if you come to Earth and you really have a shitty life and you're unable to grasp the lesson that you had set for you, and you get lost and confused in this material world and you really get attached to it, you just get lost, get lost, get lost over and over again. And, who knows? There's a million dimensions, a million possibilities. Maybe you die and you just go to Sapa World and it's extreme love. I've experienced that, as if that's a possibility. Or whatever, man. There's no limit to the possibilities. I limit myself to nothing. If you dream that you are a pink elephant in this life and that's what you feel like, freaking awesome. Use your creativity, use your awesomeness, and fucking make your elephant blossom. Yeah, I don't know. I went on the rant there about what I believed in. I'm really passionate, and the more extreme I am, the more it's because I'm afraid of it not being true. So you notice when people get really extreme with their thoughts, again, I'm assuming, I'm talking about myself all the time. Yo, dope, I'm talking to you. Never mind, right? So, and for me, if I get more extreme, it's because like I got such a fear that it might not be true that I attach to it and I want to push it on others. Listen to me as if I'm right. I know nothing. So death, wow, right? So I had a sort of like a body esque death. Um, that mushroom, that trip that I was talking about. So now I go into the purging, and it's insane. I get to a point where I got nothing left, like no mucus, no liquid. Like like my body cannot cry anymore, but it has more to cry about for whatever reason. But I'm just exhausted, so I'm kind of just laying there. My wife's tired and she wants to go to bed because I've been crying forever now. And I like, of course, you go. I'm not gonna be able to sleep. I'm in this mushroom state. I can do this, right? That was the point, and I at this time in my life I feel like I just gonna go through it. If that's my life, the sadness, well, I'm gonna fucking push it to the limit, and I'm gonna get comfortable with it. So she goes up, and now I'm sitting with myself and my body. My brain is, I would say, 100% on, and because of that, it has like a total awareness of the body, all of my cell, all of my bones, uh, everything, and everything has memory. If my awareness would jump to my knee, I could feel like my knee having a memory, and I would think like of maybe a friend or my sister or my dad, and it was just like images that would show up, but like, and it would go backwards, and my awareness would jump to my finger, and then I could see my entire hand going with that memory, and my nose, and everything I was looking at inside my awareness in terms of my body, I didn't like. So I wanted to get out of that state. I didn't want to look at my body anymore. I was like, okay, enough with this thing. Like, I'm not enjoying this. I'm not enjoying my memories. everything that it's showing me, like my chest and my everything, like I just saw negativity. Like I never enjoyed this body. I never liked what I looked like, I guess, or how this body operated, how it felt because of all of my anxiety, all of my depression, all of the like as I grew up, I could see that my life was perfect, and yet I was feeling so shitty inside, and I didn't enjoy the look of my body. You know, the hole here, like everything, skinny. I used to be called skinny. All the boys were stronger than me, like you name it. But yet, I had friends, older sister, lots of family, very popular. So now I'm in the state of mind with the mushroom, and it doesn't want to let me go. It's keeping me there for whatever reason, and I start to get really angst, like really angst. Everything that, and it keeps jumping from one part of my body, and I just like sometimes I focus on something else. I was looking at my phone maybe, and no, inside my head it was jumping from inside my body awareness to one part. I get help. I call for help, and my shaman calls me back, and just we start talking, and I start talking out loud. Talking out loud. I want to encourage insanity. So there you go. I start talking out loud to myself almost because Guru was on the phone, but I couldn't concentrate. It was tripping me out. Like I was going towards a very bad place because I didn't like my body at all. And I was starting to get aware of like, oh my God, every single memory that I have about this body is negative. And it was kind of telling me that because I lived in a state where, even though I was popular and had a good life, because I was feeling so negative inside and I didn't like my journey, up to today, I'm starting to enjoy it more. But at 38 years old, every experience that I had a trauma associated with it. Like it was a heaviness. And the more I grew up with this heaviness, the more I became depressed, the more I became anxious to a point where, like us, like suicidal to, what humans go through on the daily. And that was blowing my mind in a very negative way. I was like, okay. So I started talking to myself saying, okay, body, like really Dom. I was calling myself Dom because I had that ego that had that like, so it's okay, Dom. Like, and I felt like Do is my soul. That's the one that wants to grow and open up my heart. So I was like, Dom, okay, I understand that you don't like yourself, and I was like kind of blaming him. I was like, I know you don't like yourself, and I know you don't like your memory, but like we got this. And the more I would talk, the more like I would I would be able to handle it at least. So I was talking to myself nonstop, like Dom, like you got this, like chill, like why are you so pissed off about yourself? Like you got a good life. And I kept rationalizing again to Dom, saying, yo man, you have nothing to complain about. What the fuck are you so sad about? Get out of this state. You're an idiot. Like, so again, on the mushroom, I was kind of attacking myself. I had taken a break from weed at that point, and I'm like, yeah, I give up. Like, I want cannabis. I know I feel like I'm an addict sometimes, and why do I love cannabis so much? Why do I think about it all the time? So, anyways, I give up. I'm so inside my body right now, and everything that is showing me is so negative, and I'm trying to rationalize with Dom, saying, Dom, come on, man. You're good. You're good. What are you doing? You're good. Go outside, smoke a joint. As soon as I smoke a joint, I feel the awareness kind of come out of me where cannabis comes in. I'm familiar with her as if she's a plant medicine, as she is, like a somebody that I know, like a doctor, a shaman, whatever. And it comes in my awareness and starts comforting me in a way that it gives me all of the knowledge of what I was talking previously about how I'm not this body and stuff like that. And she kind of gives a separation between the dislike of my body, like what my brain was going through, and me being aware of my brain and what it was going through and what it was seeing. And it was showing me that, yo, Dom here, okay, you're blaming him, but it's your fault, dude. Like it's you, Do, the soul. You're the one that's confused and putting all this strain and this pressure on this body because you don't know what's going on. Wake up. And as soon as I got this feeling of like waking up to the idea that I'm the one that was making my body stress, and I was blaming it as if the world, my entire illusion, was why I was this way. And then it was turning it all around, saying, no, 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 you're this way because you are creating this illusion and you're confused at the back. Like you're the one that's creating all of this. And because you're confused, your body, what you perceive as your body, is going through a freaking hard time. And it's been 38 years. Wake the fuck up. So then I look at this body, and as soon as I look at this body, I get this experience, the pain that arose in my heart. It threw me to my knees. I was outside at the front, and if anybody would have been walking, they would have thought I was having a heart attack. I go to my knee, put myself down on four, and I think I'm going to puke, but I allow it. I know I'm afraid of puking. I know I'm afraid of death, but this is insanity. Like this hate or this confusion that I've got. Anyways, it was an experience. There was no thought. When an experience comes, it feels like a million thousand feelings coming through you, and you just have to go through it and you jump into it. And if you don't, that's where you get the screamers and the like psychosis, and you need to go to the hospital. I decided to go in because through like, thank fucking God, thank you mother for having taught me that at the beginning. You go through your experiences, you look at your body. So anyways, fall in, the feeling goes inside my heart and it goes circular and goes in my head, and everywhere it's touching, it's like an awareness that was going through every single part of my body. It was the most painful thing I had ever felt in my life. But it was not me feeling the pain. I was the awareness seeing my body feeling the pain, because now I had woken up to the idea that I was not looking at myself because of my confusion, that I hated this body so fucking much. I still have trouble. Of course, that's my journey. So I hated this body, and now I saw it for the first time, and it allowed the body to go through its pain. The way that I saw it after the experience, obviously, is that as you go through life, because your body is aware of just conserving energy, survival, making sure that there's no danger, eating the right thing. It doesn't have time to think of all the other stuff, and it's really good at just, oh, you've got a pain here, but I know you don't want to deal with it. Like I'm just gonna hide it, and it did that all my life for 38 years because of my soul didn't like this body. It was ignoring it and just pushing everything under the rug and saying, "Fuck off," like why are you so frustrated? And my body, in turns, because the body is not you, tries to talk to you. It says, I'm frustrated because you're not looking at me. I'm frustrated because you don't like me. I'm frustrated because you don't know what the hell is going on and you think that you're me. I'm not you. I'm going through my own thing and you're not looking at me properly. That's kind of what was happening. And no, it was exactly what was happening. Exactly what was happening. So I go through this pain. Anyways, it lasts the entire night. I wake up the next day full of pain. But since that day, I've been looking at my body the right way. I've been feeling all of its pain, all of its angst. And to me, that was like sort of a mental death. Like it took the body away from me. And it was a death of separation. And it was nice. It was really nice. Like the idea that this is not my body. So I've talked enough, I think. That was a great video. The integration of this is absolutely amazing for my life. You guys are giving me the space. Uh, Anyways, I love you guys so freaking much. Thank you for being here. Monkey and Frank, baby. Monkey and Frank on Twitter. And don't forget to share about like your experience. I want to know it all. This is insane how everybody's journey is so unique, and I love it. Love you guys.